Yes. Welcome to another episode of our show, Sports in and Out. And this is uh, Savage of Lagos and Radio Savage. And we're here to give you the best of sports. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the NPFL. But before that, if you've not subscribed, if you've not shared, please do that right now. And we're moving on to the NPFL. Normally, we'll be asking ourselves, what do we think about the NPFL? But we have a lot to dive in this particular episode. So we'll be going straight. But can I quickly get a little reflection of what happened in this match?
Yeah, and this match day we had a lot of goals. We had a defeat from a team that has been winning their games at home, but it was an away loss to Canopilas. Canopilas, who has actually been losing a lot of games, actually got 3 points in that game. This season has actually been a roller coaster of emotions. It has actually made a lot of teams reflect on how they should actually perform better.
Yes, this season has been a season where the teams that you don't expect are the ones at the top, and the ones that you even expect are the ones at the bottom. Let's just see how this season is going to play out. And we're going straight to the results of the match day 14, and this is how they played. And Kwara United were held on a 0-0 draw at home by 3SC, that's Shooting Stars Sports Club team. That game ended 0-0. Remo Stars went on to winning ways and they defeated Barawu FC 2 goals to nothing. Rangers International picked up all 3 points versus Niger Tornadoes. That game ended 1 goal to 0 in favor of Enugu Rangers International. Wiki Tourists were held on a 1-1 draw by Bayelsa United. Abia Warriors also goalless in that particular game versus Bendel Insurance. And the game between Plateau United versus Rivers United was postponed due to Rivers United being on an engagement in CAF.
Yes.
And we see that Warri Wolves were also held on a 1-1 draw by Kun Khalifat FC. That game was actually an interesting game. If I may say, Nasser United, the team that has Anas Yusuf, that game ended 3 goals to 0 in favor of Nasser United against El Kanemi Warriors. And on Monday, some games were played. That is the game between Katsina United versus Eyimba. Katsina United defeated Eyimba. Eyimba, the Elephants of Aba, were defeated. That game ended 3 goals to 2. And we saw you mentioned now that a team that were always on winning ways, they actually lost. That's the Canopilas defeated Ikorodu City. That game ended 2 goals to 1. Knowing that Canopilas are not playing at home, they're not playing their games at home. What do you think about this match day? Let me just pick up just some teams quickly. Let's talk about the game between Ikorodu City versus Canopilas.
Yeah, the game against Ikorodu City versus Canopilas. Canopilas got the first goal in that game. Then it was an equalizer came from Ikorodu City and a late winner from Canopilas. Canopilas are actually doing well to come back because we always say it in the NPFL. It's when it reached the middle of the season that you know the big boys in the league. I think Kano Pillars are actually trying to get those wins from those losses that they've have gotten earlier in the season. And let's just see. Probably, I said it one day that Ahmed Musa needs to actually talk to his team. And yes, we saw Ahmed Musa all smiles on that day, and it was actually a good one for them.
Yes, it was a good one for them. Let's quickly move on to another side, which is the Kwara United and Shooting Stars that plays 0-0. For me, in that particular game, I will say that Shooting Stars, coached by Coach Aweru, are actually a side that have been coming up. They've been picking up some points and also they've been picking up draws and wins this season, but they started late. They started very, very poorly this season, but now we're seeing them pick up shape in this season. What do you think about that side?
Yeah, for me, the question is can Kwara United defeat Shooting Stars? I'll say no, because they have the likes of that mighty coach, Coach Awero, coaching the Shooting Stars. And I think Shooting Stars have done a lot this season. They've not lost a lot of games this season. They've been drawing a lot of games as well. And I just want Shooting Stars to actually play better football. At least they should actually stay at the top of the table, like the first 1 to 10 teams on the table.
Yes,
And
0-0 is not a bad
not a
score.
bad score.
Not a
It's
bad
a
score.
draw and it's 1 point. Let's talking about the table. Let me give you the table for the after match week 15. And so Nasarawa United. Okay, after match.
Let me give you a table after
Okay.
match.
So talking about table, let me give you the table for after match day 14. So Nasarawa United have played 14 games and they are 27 points. They are staying top of the table. That's number one, Ikorodu City, and number two, the defeat got them to number two, and they've played 14 games and 24 points. Rivers United have played 12 games. They have 2 games outstanding and they are on 23 points. They are number three on the table. Abia Warriors are currently fourth on the table with 23 points. Enugu Rangers International are fifth on the table with 22 points. Niger Tornadoes FC are sixth on the table with 20 points. Wiki Tourist FC are seventh on the table with 20 points as well. Castina United are on eighth on the table with 20 points. Warri Wolves, that's the new side in the NPFL, they are ninth on the table with 19 points. Bayelsa United are 10th on the table with 19 points. Remo Stars are 11th on the table with 19 points. Kwara United FC are 12th on the table with 18 points. El Kanemi Warriors FC are 13th on the table with 18 points. Eimba are 14th on the table with 17 points. Shooting Stars Sports Club are 15th on the table with 17 points. Plateau United are 16th on the table with 15 points. So now we're going to the relegation zone. So Kun Khalifat are 17th on the table with 14 points. Bendel Insurance FC are 18th on the table with 13 points. Barao FC are 19th on the table with 13 points. And Kano Pillars are 20th and last on the table with 9 points. What do you think about the table? I'll just be picking some teams. What do you think about Ikorodu City, second on the table with the loss?
Yes, they were number one last week. If they had won the game, they would have topped the table back. But unfortunately, it ended in a defeat, and they couldn't top that table. And but for me, it's a good one for them still because since last season we've seen consistency. Finished fourth
Last
last
season.
season, almost going to the continent, but just slipped off by just a little margin. And now we are seeing them do the same thing they did last season. So they are not a fluke team. We see them do the same thing. But another team I wanted to talk about was Remo. We see Remo are already climbing up
Yes.
on the table. Now they are already
11th.
they are 11th on the table from being number 17.
17.
They even smelled the relegation zone for a while. And now we see by just picking up 3 points. And that's the NPFL for you. Things change just like that.
Yeah, that's to show you that the NPFL is one competitive competition. We saw Remo Stars as at last 2 weeks they were on the 17th position.
Yeah.
Right now on the 11th position. That's to show you the amount of work these teams are actually putting. One team that is actually very special in this league is Rivers United, having two games outstanding, still being on the third position on the NPFL table. What do you think about that team?
Yes, for me, the Rivers United team, it shows that that's class. They are currently even playing in the CAF
Champions
Champions
League.
League, and they are the first team in the last 7 years to be a first Nigerian team in the last 7 years to be in that competition. And we see what they are doing. Although their game, will still tell you what happened in that their game.
But one question I need to ask is, do you think Coach Fini the Judge has a magical spirit? Because we saw him do it a lot of time. We saw him do it in Eimba when he was back then, when he was the coach of Eimba, and he's doing it now as the coach of Rivers United. Do you think Rivers United has the arsenal to win the league this season?
Yes, we see what they are doing in the CAF Champions League. They are the only team that qualified to the group stage of that particular competition, despite Remo Stars being one of the biggest sides in this particular league. And we expected them to be the ones to even clinch a spot, but they met Mamelodi Sundowns. But now, Rivers United, we see what happened. They were not losing in the first leg, and won the second leg, and now getting into this particular competition ended up in a defeat against Pyramid. And everyone expected that loss because you can't go to Egypt and expect to pick up a win. That game ended 3-0 in favor of Pyramids. But now they have a chance of coming back to Nigeria and picking up 3 points.
Yeah, one thing that Rivers United needs to do is actually get home wins. We always say it every time. They should get their home wins. Once they get those home wins in the CAF Champions League, they will definitely qualify to the next stage because we know the Pyramids were actually the toughest side of this their group. And let's just see what's going to happen in the coming weeks because we know they are going to be hosting the side
RS
from
Beckins.
RS Beckins from Morocco. They are going to be hosting them at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. And let's just see what's going to happen. We're going to be given the next fixtures, which will start on the 29th of November 2025. Bender Insurance will be taking on Wiki Tourist. Then on the 30th, the remaining games will play that Barao FC will be taking on Kwara United, Bayelsa United will be taking on Castina United, Eimba will be taking on Enugu Rangers International. That's a Southeast derby. Ikorodu City will be taking on uh, Abia Warriors at the Unicon Stadium. Co Califat FC will be hosting Plateau United, Niger Tornadoes. Okay, Co Califat FC will be taking on Plateau United. Niger Tornadoes will be taking on Remo Stars. Rivers United's game will definitely be postponed due to their CAF Champions League, and they are meant to be taking on Kano Pillars, but that game should be postponed because they have a game
Yeah, on Friday.
on Friday against RS Beacons of Morocco at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. If you are close by, you can just go and watch the game. Shooting Stars will be taking on El Kanemi Warriors, and lastly, Warri Wolves will be taking on the league leaders, that's Nasarawa United. So we'll be talking about some of these games. What do you think about the game that we played at the Unicon Stadium? That's Ikorodu City versus Abia Warriors.
Yes, I must mention that was the last game that they played last season. That Abia Warriors were away to Ikorodu City for
Yeah.
the last game where we saw Musa Malik score the 60th goal for Ikorodu City
Yes.
in that particular game. They won that game 3-1, if I can remember very clearly in that particular game. So we can see that Abia Warriors are actually a tough side because we see where they are this season. We see what they are doing this season as well. And Ikorodu City are also a tough side. You can't come to Lagos and pick up 3 points. It's not possible.
They always say something, you're in Lagos, this is Lagos.
Because we've seen 20 something matches, and
Unbeaten.
they've still not lost in Lagos. But I don't think Abia Warriors are the team to actually do that.
Yeah, for me, Abia Warriors, they are top side in the Npfl, but I think Ikorodu City might will edge that game because they have the capacity. And there's one player that we need to talk about. That's Joseph Arumala. Joseph Arumala in 13 games or so, he has
14.
scored 14 games. He has scored 5 goals and assisted 3. What do you think about that talent, Joseph Arumala?
Yes, Joseph Arumala, very, very brilliant player. It's one player that I really, really love for that particular side, the Ikorodu City. Inclusion this season, we always talk about him a lot this season. He was just included into his side this season.
Yeah.
He came I can remember the first day he came for the
The
Eco
preseason,
International
yes.
Cup, the preseason competition, that Ikorodu City later won because of him, Joseph Arumala,
Arumala.
and even the other competition. We saw the
Value Jets Cup.
Cup, which that Ikorodu City also won. We saw his impact in those two competitions, and now he's still showing that he's actually a star. We see that he's actually in the list of the top scorers this season in the Nigeria Premier League.
Joseph Arumala, he has same jubilation with Brian Mbumu. I think that's to show you class, and it's actually a sign of being. I always say it at the beginning of the season that this guy is actually going to be the best player in the NPFL for this season, and I'm just looking forward to what's going to happen at the end of the season. I just hope he doesn't get injured during the course of the season because we know some players, the reason why they don't get those nominations or that recognition is the fact of they get injured. So we know Kelechi from the Ikorodu City as well. He got injured. He was a very good defensive midfielder, but yes, he's injured right now. I think he will be back very soon. But Joseph Arumala has carried this team, scoring week in, week out. I think he has about three goals at the Oniko Stadium and away as well. He has a lot of goals as well. So this guy has actually proved himself to be one of the best and one of the favorites to win the player of the season.
Yes, and he's not just a goal scorer, he's an entertainer. He's a player that actually scores and also entertains. But another game I would like to talk about is the Eastern Derby. That's the game between Enyimba versus Enugu Rangers. That game is going to be a tough game. Let's just see who's going to win. The Elephants of Aba, will they redeem themselves? They lost their last game. Let's see what will happen. We saw some news coming up in there about them. They debunked it later on, but I'm actually going to be gunning and be supporting. I don't know who to support in this particular derby because it's a derby. Let me just say I put my predictions on Eimba.
Yeah, for me, I'll put my predictions on Enugu Rangers, or I'll just give it a draw. Eimba has not been performing up to the standard of the NPFL. I used to say it every time. They're not performing up to the standard of the NPFL this season. We saw at the beginning of the season they were unbeaten for quite a while. But when our team started defeating them, I think they began to lose that logic of what they were using to get those clean sheets and those unbeaten runs. Eimba, the defeat they got the last one was actually a back-to-back defeat for Eimba, and I think this time around, I think Enugu Rangers should actually get the win because coach Fidelis Ilechukwu has actually coached that team very well, and we know that this team are actually
they're a title winning team last 2 seasons.
Last 2 seasons as well.
Before Remo Stars, they actually won the league.
And they want to stay in the league. Everybody are playing to actually get that 3 points. And let's just see what's going to happen in that Southeast derby.
Yes, for me, we have already mentioned at the beginning that we have a lot to mention. We've already talked about some, just like we just briefly talked about Pyramid defeated Rivers United in Egypt, 3 goals to 0. The coach Finidi George side fell to a 3-goal defeat. What do you think about that particular side and that particular loss?
Yeah, we all know that the Pyramids had the edge because number one, it was their home pitch. We know a lot of things, a lot of determinants in their side is the crowd. Whenever they have that large crowd, they actually get motivated to score goals. And we knew that the toughest, they are the defending champions of this same CAF Champions League, defeating Mamelodi Sundowns last season. So I was actually looking forward to even a heavier defeat than 3 goals to 0. But I think what Rivers United needs to do now is put their head up high and actually play good football in their next game.
Yes, the good part is that this is going to be an home and away. It's a table, so it's a marathon, not a sprint. You just have to just pick up points in different games that are valuable. Speaking of home fields, do you think that the home advantage is going to work for the Nigerian side when they host RS Bekins? And that game is going to be held at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium on Friday, 28th of November, 4 p.m.
Yeah, one thing that I need the NFF or also the organizers, the NPFL, to actually do is actually mobilize a lot of people to go and watch that game. The way they mobilize people to watch Nigerian games, that's Nigerian international games. I think they should actually do that. Motivate people to actually go and watch these games. Bring the crowd. Probably even make the tickets free. If people, because in Lagos as well, if people see that a stadium actually sells their tickets for free, they will go and watch this game. Say publicize these games. To be honest, we're not seeing it everywhere. I think by now we should have been seeing posters. We should have seen TV adverts.
They are actually representing the whole
nation. They are the only team from Nigeria that is in the continent. So I think we need to do more. We need to do better in publicity, radio jingles, TV adverts, newspapers, everybody should actually take the NPFL serious. Should actually take this CAF Champions League serious because Rivers United are actually putting us on the world map, not just Africa map, but the world.
Putting Nigeria on the world map, like you just mentioned, and someone that has been putting the NPFL on the world map. Let me just read out this particular news. It says captain, leader, warrior, Gali Falke clocks 100 appearances in the colours of Shooting Stars, a centurion of on and off the pitch. That's the Shooting Stars captain. He has played he has made 100 appearances for the team.
Is the real definition of Oluyole boy. And yes, the Ibadan boys, we know their team is actually doing well, but this player getting 100 appearances, that's why he's the captain, that's why he's the Superman, that's why he's the one that is actually heading this team. And yes, we should give him his flowers. 100 games is not easy to play, even in the Premier League, the EPL is actually doing it in the Nigerian Premier Football League. That's to show you that he is motivated. He's not motivated by other leagues. He's motivated by what
Yeah.
he's playing in the NPFL. He actually values this league and he wants to stay in this league. 100 games. That's a good one. I'll give him a round of applause for that. And let's just say that kudos to him.
Yeah.
He has actually done well. That's playing like about 3 seasons or so in for Shooting Stars.
Yes, 100 appearances in a league that everyone signs for only one season. That means he has been renewing his contract in this particular team, and it shows how important he is in that side. He's the captain of the side. He's the skipper. He's the one that they actually look up to. If people see him playing 100 appearances, they will also want to actually have
Yes.
100 appearances in that same team. If you can see it as like that, because if he can do it, another person can also do it.
Yes.
And congratulations to him for actually meeting the 100 goals. And
100
let's
appearances.
100 appearances rather. And we're moving on to another news. That's the last news for today, and that's the top scorers of the NPFL this season. And we see a familiar name from last season. Was the number one last season with 21 or 22 goals.
Yes.
And now is already number one this season. He has 6 goals. His name is Anas Yusuf from Nasarawa United, and he has 6 goals. And we also have with 5 goals. We have the guy from Ikorodu City, Joseph Arumala, and Godwin Obaje. He has from Enugu Rangers has 5 goals. Ibrahim Yahaya, Barawu FC. I can't even believe that a Barawu FC player has 5 goals in the league this season. And we have Owon Kori Ebuka from Kun Kalifat. We see the new sides actually producing players with goals, 5 goals for him as well.
I wanted to talk about one player, very special player, Anas Yusuf. As at the beginning of the season, we did see Anas Yusuf score goals. I think it's during the last few games that he has actually racked up 6 goals this season. He came to the Ikorodu City, came to Lagos, he didn't get any goal.
So, yeah.
And this guy has actually put in this work, scoring 6 goals.
Yeah, season after
season, showing class and not even looking at the age. Anas Yusuf is actually a special player,
Yeah.
spectacular player.
Yes, Anas Yusuf, very young talent from the Nasarawa United side. Unfortunately, he couldn't score in Lagos because the guys in Lagos, they defeated them 2 goals to nothing in that particular game.
They didn't give them chance.
They didn't even give them chance. He had some couple of chances, but even in that particular game, I saw their captain being the star player for the Nasarawa United side, not even Anas Yusuf in that game. And we can actually say that, yeah, congratulations to him for being the top. And let's see if he can still end up winning that
The
golden boot for another season, because we know that money comes after that.
And also, one other player that he actually needs to look out for is Joseph Arumala of Ikorodu City. Joseph Arumala scoring week in, week out. We cannot say less for this guy. He scores, he assists, he does the dribbles, he entertains. So I think Joseph Arumala should actually be given that honorary mention, and he's also part of the highest goal scorers as well. So let's just see what's going to happen at the end of the season. I think the NPFL needs to be given player of the season. And Joseph Armalan should actually be nominated. And let's just see what the fans will vote.
Yes, thank you guys for watching this particular episode. Don't forget you can bet on one
Let's
expert
bet.
using our promo code Sport In
Sporting
and
and out,
Out,
SPORTINANDOUT,
Sport In and Out, and get up to 300% bonus while using that promo code. And
don't forget this ad is 18 plus. If you are not 18, please don't bet and bet responsibly. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe.